Hey everyone, and welcome back. I do have a little bit of time to get this next video in. It's my last set of notes. I don't know how far I'll get into this because there's so much information on page 7. It is shocking. Alright, let's get into this. Liminal Land website archives. Alright, same hall, new walls. Now, what? Brain train. Hold on. Let me slow this brain train down for half a minute. One of the things that I mentioned in an earlier video was you need to make sure that when you're playing an investigative game that you get as much of your information down as quickly as possible. So what I did was I made note of absolutely everything that I saw just as it was, so I was clicking on as little as possible because some of this may be click triggered. I'll explain more about that in a minute. And it means that should any of the information disappear all of a sudden, I might be able to type that same title or some cluey stuff in relation to it into various search engines and social media platforms and be able to get that information through a different avenue. So just saying, again, what I'm fixing to list out here gets back to some of that stuff that I was mentioning in my previous videos. So we've got Same Hall, New Walls, 1978, Lake Valley's Annual Police Report, 1987, introducing Subliminal Land, 1978. In a previous video, you remember me mentioning that one of my fellow gamers was saying that they reckoned the original name might have been Subliminal Land. Well, they were right. There it is. Pre-Liminal Land photos of Lake Valley, dying of laughter, mention of Dr. Schlettenberg in Science News 1959. Wait a minute. There's two different titles here. And one says that this is a bad idea, dying of laughter, and the other one almost sounds praiseworthy, like, hey, yay, look, it's this guy and he's in Science News. Yeah, a little odd there. And I had a gut feeling about that back on track facial expression. That was a bit much. Another mention of Charun and its logo referred to the training video. And it was listed as Memorandum, the sound in C block. That's a must read. I made note of that because I wanted to go back to it. So when I was making my original notes, that was big. And those blackouts, I tried to read through those blackouts later. I got news for you on those. The company training tape, forgive me, I'll be swatting from time to time because there's mosquitoes out here. The company training tape, it doesn't look the same as the one that I watched earlier. So that was a bit of a red light. And then you'll find Feeling Right at Home. Home was in big print. I was like, yeah. This was a separate document here at Liminal Land. You'll feel right at home. And home is in all caps. It was some promotional material. More promotional material, Dream. Then there's Missing Persons, 1988. Lake Valley Observation, 1973, Paradise Playrooms, promotional material. And look at here, Margaret Jacobson. You remember earlier I was saying that there was a gut feeling about Margaret Jacobson that I needed to remember that name? There she is, part of a Lake Valley police thing. And those doodles that's on that Missing Persons bulletin, that was just serious stuff there. When you look into graphology, you'll know why those are important. Charun Corp promotional material, A New World Awaits. There again, there's more of that culty stuff that I was talking about. When you're looking at religio cults, they talk about how they're going to create a new, better, brighter world, and everyone's going to be so much happier, and it's going to be so much greener and beautiful and great. Yeah, okay, sure, and there it is, A New World Awaits. I don't know, that just seemed a bit sus to me. There was another gut feeling, Paradise Playrooms image. For some reason you can't see that boy's eyes, and I don't know why. And it doesn't look like he's wearing glasses either, because the reflection off of glasses has a very specific look. Maybe it was just, you know, some odd incident, you know, maybe that's not actually supposed to be something. I don't know, but I decided to write it down anyway. And then, another gut feeling hit me, 7 levels. Refer to park closure in Liminal Land website, rite of passage. Okay. There was something in this material that was talking about how big this place was. And it was talking about the size of the park, how much space there is. And here we go. Here's the name of that document. It calls itself Down in the Depths. How deep does the rabbit warren go? That's what I want to know. That was a 1988 document. And then we have Movement on the Rails, 1979. My gut feeling was happiest ride on Earth. Oh, really now? Why would that be? Does it have something to tie into that Dying of Laughter document that we saw earlier? So, now, when you're doing the rat method and you are trying to collect as much information as possible, as quickly as possible, one thing you've got to remember, if this stuff is click-triggered, like I suspect some of it may be because the developers are just really clever, you may find that if you click on one of these sites, you will lose access to other information, which is most unfortunate. So you've got to pick and choose where you think you're going to get the most information from firstly, and then just go down the list of which ones you think you're going to get the least information from, being the last one that you click on, just in case you end up losing information simply because you've clicked somewhere and you didn't know that it was going to be triggered to some other something. That said, if you click on something in one of these games, it may change all the rest of the information that's available, which is another reason for doing the rat method, is because the Welcome Home website may, after all of this, behave very differently because you've gone through all these other things. I expected to find such interesting material to show up only after having that password, which was another reason why the password for that one little section of the park closure was so important to me, because I figured, hey, if I want more information available, maybe I need to get this password going. So that way, if nothing else, no matter what's behind that, many other little secret doors will open and images will show up that wouldn't have shown up before, you know, things like that. Because I don't know, you know, what kind of effort the developers have gone to put this game together, so I'm going to be playing it as clever as possible. That in mind, I have 2 different sets. I have collected without clicking, and then had to collect by clicking. So again, remember, try to prioritize. So what I got without having to actually go into anything and open it up fully was the Hall of Walls, introducing Subliminal Land, letter from Jason Franklin. Oh dear, there's another Frank. That's the 3rd one so far. To a David? David who? And then there's the special bullet in. That was a bit sus when I found that. The number for Liminal Land is the same as the number on the missing persons bulletin. Why does that not surprise anybody? You remember I was talking about that before? Proof is in the pudding. That gut feeling was right. And the Liminal Land Archival Committee logo. Holy. When I saw that logo before in the background of the video, let me see if I can find that information for you now. Alright, there's what stands out. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if I wrote that one down, because I did notice it, but I couldn't do anything about it. Because I couldn't see it well enough. No, it doesn't look like I wrote that one down. But I did notice that there was a logo back there that I couldn't see well enough in that bluish sort of stuff. And I noticed that there was an arm that was pointing down, And then there was another arm that was pointing down, and there were legs and obvious figures and heads, but I couldn't make out the whole thing. And then here it is at the bottom of the page. So yeah, just refer back to that original training video that was interrupted by a recording by a random videographer. So what I had to collect by clicking was the Jacobson House Fire, 1987. So that was a report that was done by the imaginary New Mexico Police Department. Notice how I put that. I don't want anybody being confused thinking that this is real stuff here. And I found it very interesting that there were 2 adults that showed up, but it doesn't say who those 2 adults were. And it doesn't say anything about how the 2 adults tried to rescue the children who were still in the house. Another thing is it doesn't say what happened to those 2 adults after the scene. And a cake, I'm sorry, that just seemed like a bit of a lie. So when you go in and you start reading about that information, I just don't buy it. I think that was supposed to be written up as arson, and Ms. Jacobson escaped, and that fire was meant for the entire family, and that's one of the reasons why that missing persons report became an emergency, was because there were quite a number of people who were out of pocket when they shouldn't have been. That is all I have for you for now, because I haven't finished my notes on this. There is a lot more information that I have not taken out of my chicken scratch yet. So I apologize that this video is shorter than the rest of them, but I assure you I will have the rest of my notes more organized later on, and I will have them in chronological order for you as well, which if I was to show you my original notes, they would not be visibly in chronological order. It would just look like an absolute rat's nest. Every pun intended, given that this is the rat method that we're talking about using here. And I will see you guys in the next video. I look forward to telling you about some of the stuff that I found in the rest of that collected by clicking set, and some of the other information that I found in the rest of the Liminal Land website. Thank you so much for watching.